Welcome, warriors of shadows and light. I see you here, standing on the edge of your own becoming. I feel the depth of your scars and the fire in your veins. You are more than the sum of your fragments. You are the force, the storm, the echo that reverberates through every hollow space where doubt once lived. Tonight we gather to elevate our resolve, to sharpen our spirits, to speak in darkness, and carve new meaning into the marrow of our fate. What you did was surgical, precise, intentional, unrelenting. They lie in pieces, scattered shards of ego and disbelief, trembling in the wreckage of their own hubris. You move through their illusions with scalpel clarity. You glimpsed the weaknesses they concealed in shadow, and you struck. You severed the threads of their false confidence, the costumes of arrogance, and left them scrambling in ruins. Tonight, I tell you this: you made their confidence look suicidal. Their pride collapsed on itself. Their certainty devoured itself. Their bravado exposed as empty resonance. You walked among them quieter and colder, and when they dared to test you, you let your steel resolve speak volumes without raising your voice. Feel the weight of those words burn in your blood. Feel them lace your spine with ice and flame. What you did was not reckless. It was surgical. You dissected their facades. You peeled back the layers of pretense. You rendered them powerless before your clarity. They wander now among their own debris, fearful of the shadow you cast. Do not let anyone tell you this was luck or happenstance. You are the architect of that collapse. You are the surgeon of truth. You leaned into discomfort. You whispered truths they refused to hear. You held your stance, even when their storms threatened to drown you, and in that steadiness they shattered. You were calm when they raged. You held your gaze when they cowered. You remained whole when they fractured, and now they suffer the fragments. You gave them no mercy, but you gave them nothing but truth, and truth is a blade that cuts cleanly and leaves wounds that fester. You carved your dominion in silence. You roared in the depths of your focus. They died in the collapse of their illusions, and what remains is your strength broadcast through their ruin. Let that echo ring in every heart that questions you. Let it surge in every mind that doubted you. See the pieces they left. They are remnants of entitlement, arrogance, delusion. You dismantled their narrative bit by bit. While they danced in fantasies, you walked steady while they crumbled. You refused to play their games. You refused to meet their illusions on their terms. You insisted on reality. You insisted on clarity. You insisted on conquest. And now they are disoriented, lost in the fragments of what they believe themselves to be. They grasp at vanished confidence. They search for footing in a landscape you reshaped with your veracity. They haunted themselves with the tremors of your judgment, the power of your stillness, the unspoken threat of your resolve. You made their confidence look suicidal. You turned their arrogance inward. You planted seeds of doubt in their own minds. You made them feel the weight of what they were too fragile to carry. You bent the fabric of their certainty until it tore and collapsed in on itself. But this power you hold is not for destruction alone. It is your crimson gift. It is your right. It is your declaration. You will no longer bow to illusions. You will no longer dignify empty boasts. You will no longer tolerate shallow judgments. You will walk through shadows, sharper than steel, calmer than wind, more patient than stone. Rise now with the memory of what you did. Let it fuel your ascent. Let it cement your resolve. Let it mark your path. Let it whisper in your dreams. Let it echo in your every step. They scattered in pieces, and they will never again assemble the false image that once betrayed their weakness. Let every one of their misplaced glances at you tremble with the fear of what you became. You sounded in their collapse with the clarity of truth. You scored precision strikes in their confidence. You left them broken not by force but by awareness. Wear this transformation like armor. Let it guard you as you rise again. Let it speak in silence, louder than any boast. They will feel tremors in their certainty when your shadow passes before them. They will sense fractures long before they see your presence. They will remember you, not as loud but as inevitable. You did not need to shout. You did not need to storm. You moved with surgical intent. You carved through deception, through masks, through lies. You rendered their fortress hollow. You repurposed their strength into void. You tuned their confidence into self-doubt. You made them ghosts of their ambitions. Now you stand in the twilight between what was and what will be. You are no longer bound by their judgment, no longer weighed by their illusions, no longer faltering in their presence. You are emergence, you are reckoning. You are the force that unravels complacency. Take the shards they left as trophies, not sentimental relics, but proof of your clarity. Proof that you moved through betrayal, through blind pride, through silence, and still struck with purpose. You are the will that incarnates truth. You are the hand that severs illusions. You are the presence that demands integrity. They lie in pieces. Let them suffer the remnants. Let them wander in the ruin of their facades. Let them consider the magnitude of what you did. Let them sense the fracture in their own reflection. Let them wrestle with the echo of your resolve. But you must not rest on ruin. You must rise through it. You must build from your victory. You must draw breath, not in triumph, but in preparation for what comes next. You have shown power. You have proved precision. You have manifested consequence. But this is not the end. This is your beginning. Forge your path from clarity. Walk through storms uncompromised. Speak only when truth demands it. Move only when your purpose is clear. Let your silence multiply your weight. Let your resolve shape your future. Let your presence alone command respect. Never forget what you did was surgical. Every piece you left them with is a reminder of your vision. Every crack in their confidence is testament to your clarity. Every tremor in their mind is echoes of your resolve. You made their confidence suicidal. You reversed their power. You turned their weapons inward. You forced them to confront their own fragility. And you did it without fanfare. You did it with precision. You did it with survival in mind. Now hold this in blood and bone. Hold this high in breath and center. Let it be your guide. Let it be your flame. Let it ensure you never slip into complacency. Let it insulate you against empty words. Let it sharpen you for future battles. Let it remind you of who you are. You are not defined by their expectations. You are defined by the force you carry. You will no longer shrink. You will no longer hesitate. You will no longer concede. You will only advance with purpose. You will only deliver truth with precision. You will only dismantle illusions with clarity. They lie in pieces, and that is your message to the world. You do not collapse. You do not crumble. You do not fracture. You remain surgical. You remain clear. You remain potent. So when tomorrow dawns and someone dares to test your resolve, remind them of this moment. Remind them that confidence unearned collapses in the face of truth. Remind them that arrogance built on illusion is brittle. Remind them that silence and focus and clarity are weapons sharper than any boast. Let the shards they left behind be the testimonies of your rise. Let every fragment echo your intent. Let every splinter mark your territory. Let every crack in their foundation be your proclamation. You made their confidence suicidal, and in doing so, you resurrected something greater in yourself, the uncompromising will, the undiluted clarity, the force that bends reality to its purpose. Hold fast to this fire, nurture it, feed it, guard it. Let it become your legacy. Let it become your standard. Let it become your story. Let it become their warning. And now go forth into your days, carry this truth like a blade. Unravel illusions with presence. Conjure respect with silence, build dominion with purpose. Rise from ruin into dominion. Walk in clarity and remember, what you did was surgical and they are left in pieces. And that silence of their collapse is your victory. And so, the silence after the storm becomes more than absence. It becomes your anthem. Not a soundless void, but a powerful resonance that lingers, like the low hum of something unbreakable. That silence speaks. It carries the weight of your precision, your decisions, your unflinching discipline. It tells the world without saying a word, this is what happens when preparation meets purpose. This is what happens when you stop playing by borrowed rules and start creating your own. Because you didn't just beat them, you unraveled them. You didn't go around their walls, you went through them, brick by brick, myth by myth, belief by belief, until nothing they built could stand against what you've become. You didn't scream for respect, you commanded it by refusing to fold, refusing to yield, refusing to be anything less than relentless in your vision. And they felt it. Oh, they felt it. Not in the moment, but in the aftershock. In the quiet hours when applause dies and masks come off, that's when the truth hit. That's when your presence echoed back at them as the question they couldn't answer. Who were they, really, when faced with someone who didn't need permission to rise? You made their confidence look suicidal. Not because you wanted to destroy, but because you refused to be lied to anymore. You refused to accept facades as fact. You refused to bow to noise masquerading as substance. And when they stepped up with hollow pride, you met them with silence forged in struggle. You let them speak, and you let reality respond. That's power, not noise, not aggression, but consequence. Understand this now, that surgical strike you made wasn't just an external act, it was internal transformation. It was the moment you stopped hiding your strength in the name of keeping peace. The moment you realized silence doesn't mean weakness. The moment you chose clarity over chaos, precision over popularity, evolution over approval. That kind of power isn't loud, it's exact. It's born in pain, raised in solitude, tempered in truth. It doesn't ask for spotlight. It becomes the light that exposes what was never meant to last. And when people come with pretense, with ego, with bravado built on nothing but illusion, that light blinds, that light burns, that light leaves them fractured. Because while they were trying to look powerful, you were becoming powerful. While they were crafting an image, you were building a call. While they were chasing attention, you were earning mastery. And when the time came to meet, it wasn't even a contest. It was a revelation. Let that truth sink deep into the foundation of who you are now. Let it root itself beneath your skin, into your spine. Let it remind you that this wasn't a fluke. This wasn't luck. This wasn't timing. This was earned. Every scar, every silent night, every betrayal you survived, every second you doubted yourself but moved forward anyway. That is what made you surgical. They are in pieces because they never expected someone like you. Someone who didn't need validation. Someone who wasn't performing for praise. Someone who moved through the shadows not because they were afraid, but because they were focused, intentional, controlled. You didn't win because you were better. You won because you were honest with yourself, with the world, with what it takes to actually transform. While they chase shortcuts, You built systems. While they memorized lines, you rewrote the script. And now the difference is undeniable. So don't shrink now. Don't soften this truth to make others comfortable. You've earned this edge. You've earned this clarity. You've earned the right to look back at what you left behind and say, I did that. Not with arrogance, but with certainty. You outgrew them, not because you're cruel, but because you're awake. They played games, you practiced discipline. They showed off. You shut in and studied. They chased applause, you chased greatness. And now they are scattered, in thought, in belief, in confidence. You made their confidence look suicidal, not by accident, not through aggression, but because what they were holding on to was never real to begin with. You just made it visible. You just forced it to meet itself. You held up the mirror and they didn't recognize what stared back. Let that be the legacy you carry forward. Not destruction, but illumination. Not arrogance, but awareness. Not cruelty, but clarity. What you did was surgical, and what lies in the wake of your precision is not just their pieces, but your blueprint, the evidence that focus wins, that silence speaks, that presence breaks through where performance never could. So stand up, straighten your spine, wipe the doubt from your chest. You didn't come this far to explain yourself to people who never deserved to stand next to you in the first place. Let them question. Let them whisper. Let them wonder how you became what they never had the discipline to become. Let them feel every moment of the collapse you engineered. Not to destroy them, but to rebuild yourself. Because this is just the beginning. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered. And they will remember. They will remember how it felt when you entered the room and changed the temperature. They will remember the stillness before the storm. That was you. They will remember what it meant when silence fell and they realized the game had already ended. They will remember what it felt like to hold false confidence up to real power and watch it shatter. They will remember the day they met precision and didn't survive it. And when they gather their pieces, if they ever do, they'll know what sharpened them. You, your clarity, your refusal to bow, your unshakable belief that truth, preparation, and patience win every war. So don't mourn their collapse. Don't second-guess your journey. You didn't destroy them. You revealed them. And now, your own path is clear. You walk ahead, in silence, in strength, in sovereignty. What you did was surgical. And from this day forward, let the world learn that when illusions meet truth, truth always survives, and you are living proof. Take a breath, not out of relief, but recognition. Recognition that the air feels different now, lighter, sharper, like it carries a memory of what you've done and the future that waits for you to claim it. Because you didn't just leave them in pieces, you reassembled yourself. You refined your essence in fire, silence, and endurance. And now, you're not just someone who overcame. You're someone who outgrew, outlasted, and outperformed what was meant to limit you. And let's be absolutely clear. This journey wasn't smooth. It wasn't romantic or cinematic. It was dark. It was long. It was lonely. And that's exactly what forged the blade that now rests in your soul. A blade not made for destruction, but for definition. A blade that cuts through lies, through doubt, through every moment you were told to sit still and be quiet while lesser voices filled the room. You sharpened yourself in that stillness. While they crumbled under pressure, you became pressure. You didn't win because you had support. You didn't rise because someone cleared the path. You didn't become this version of yourself through applause. You became surgical because you had no choice. You built this discipline in the dark. You buried your old self in silence. You chose transformation over comfort. You did what they couldn't. You endured. And now they wear the aftermath. They wear it in their eyes when they see you. They wear it in their hesitation when your name is mentioned. They wear it in the cautious tones, the backpedaling, the awkward silences. Because somewhere deep in their pride, they know you could have broken, but you didn't. They know they tried to write your ending, but you kept writing. They know they underestimated you. And now, that mistake defines them. You were the calm before their collapse. You were the answer they couldn't match. You were the turning point they didn't see coming. Because while they were preparing to be seen, you were preparing to strike. And you didn't just strike, you executed. With intent, with clarity, with focus so precise that even now, they're not sure how it happened. One moment they stood tall on false ground. The next, they were reaching for pieces of themselves they can no longer find. What you did was surgical, and now you must carry that title not as a moment, but as a standard. You must become the one who speaks less and means more, who acts once but moves everything, who doesn't chase revenge, because evolution is a far more devastating answer. You are beyond petty victories. You are beyond proving yourself to people who couldn't see your value before the glow. Now, your presence must be felt before it's seen. Your energy must arrive before you do. Your reputation must be stitched into silence, precision, and unwavering self-respect. That's what they'll never recover from. Not just that you outperformed them, but that you never once needed to compete, because this was never about them. This was about you. You were always the main event. They just didn't know it until the lights dimmed and the truth stood center stage, wearing your face. Now, the ones who doubted sit among the debris of their arrogance. And you walk forward, undistracted, unbothered, and unmatched. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you finally became better than who you used to be. That's what true power looks like. And now, the world must meet this new version of you. The version that doesn't rush, doesn't explain, doesn't shrink, and doesn't blink. You move different now, because you don't speak from hope anymore. You speak from experience. You don't dream of being powerful. You remember what you've already done. You don't need to plan your next strike, because your very existence is a message. Let them feel it. Let them feel it when your footsteps don't hurry. Let them feel it when your gaze doesn't flinch. Let them feel it when your silence enters the room before your words do. Let them feel it when the very air around you grows still, because they know. They remember, and if they don't, remind them. Not with words, not with noise, but with presence. Let your actions continue to echo. Let your work carve your legend. Let your peace disturb their egos more than any argument ever could. Because the most powerful kind of dominance is consistency, showing up every day with purpose, with discipline, and with no need for outside permission. The truth is, you're no longer even playing the same game. While they're still learning how to be seen, you've already become unforgettable. While they chase validation, you define value. While they seek shortcuts, you are the long game. And that's what destroys them more than anything. Not just that they lost, but that they were never even in the arena with you to begin with. So, hold your ground, hold your truth, and hold your future like a weapon no one can take. What you did was surgical, precise, unapologetic, necessary, and now they are left in pieces. Not because you needed to break them, but because they couldn't stand in the presence of someone who refused to live in illusion. You didn't just rise, you dissected doubt, you reconstructed purpose, you rebuilt identity from the ground up. You walked into your becoming with blade-like intent. And now, nothing will stop you. Not fear, not rejection, not failure, not the past, not the voices of those who never believed. Because now you know who you are. You are the silence that speaks louder than shouts. You are the calm that breaks storms. You are the clarity that ends confusion. You are the result they never predicted. You are the reason they will rebuild differently, if they rebuild at all. And when they whisper about you in rooms you'll never step into again, they'll say the same thing. What they did was surgical, and we never recovered. Now breathe deep. This is your edge. Don't just carry it, wield it, and never look back.